Okay, this is a super quick video showing teachers how to set up their teams, get into OneNote, and get some lessons up in OneNote so the students can actually work on them. Now, it's not a lesson in Teams, it's more of a tutorial on OneNote, okay? But we do need to start in Teams. Okay, so here I am, I'm in Teams, and I'm going to create a new team. So I'm going to go up here to Join or Create Team. Top right hand corner, I'm in the Teams tab here. Top right hand corner, I'm going to join or create team. So I click here. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to create a brand new team, and I would click on create brand new team. Now I'm not going to do that right now. I've just created one. The one I've created here is called Primary Computers 2021, right? So let's say this is the team I've created. So I can click up here into these double dots right here, and I can straight away manage my team, or I can add members, or I can do lots of different things here. Let's say I want to manage my team. So I can click on manage my team here, and it takes me to this tab. It looks like a team management page, right? So on this tab, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the three dots that are right here. I'm going to click on those three dots. No, I'm not. I'm going to go to General. Right, and I'm going to click on the three dots on General. And I am going to go to Manage Channel. And I'm going to do Only Owners Can Post Messages. Okay, so I'll just go back and I'll do that again so people can see what I did. I created the teams. I go to General, I click on the three dots that are here, and I go to Manage Channel, and I say only owners can post messages. So this stops the students, because they're not going to be owners, they're just going to be members. This stops the students from having a chat on your team's channel. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. Okay, now I'm going to go back to here to Manage Team, and I'm going to start adding members. Now, to add a member to your team, you put in the student's email address that you want to add to the team. Now, I emailed out to all of the 5s and 6 teachers today. I emailed out all of the email addresses for the students. For all the other year levels, it works exactly the same. You get the student's email address. So, for the purpose of this, I will open one up and I'll use one of those usernames that I got earlier today. Let's go to, I don't know, let's go to this class right here. Let's get Jason. I'm going to highlight his email address, Command C, copy that. I'm going to go to here. I'm going to paste that into here. The computer will go online. It'll find the student if it's in our system. So if your email address is correct, it'll find the students. I can click on that student and I can click add. Now, you're going to go down and you're going to do that for every single student who's in your class. And then what will happen is you will have a list of members right here. So you'll have all of the members in your class. Now, I've gone through and I've already put a whole group of students into this primary computers just to show you for the demonstration. You would need to go through and add all of the members to your section here. Okay, so you've set it up in Teams. That's the team part of it. Now I'm just going to go back to the actual, all of the teams here. I'm just going to go back into the team. Now in the team, you will see at the top, Class Notebook. So I could click on the Class Notebook, and when you click on the Class Notebook, it says Welcome to Class Notebook and all that sort of stuff. But what we want to actually look at is this little arrow here. So if I click this navigation pane arrow here, it now shows me that each of the students that I've put into here have now been put into a folder within this team. Now it does it automatically. You don't need to do any of this. It does it all automatically. And so I could choose this first student here. I could click their little folder down. It'll show me what's been created. It's created a notebook, a handout, a homework, and a quizzes folder. So it's actually created 4 folders under this student's name, all ready to go. And actually what we're looking at here is a watered down version of OneNote, right? So we don't actually want to work here in Teams. We actually want to go and work in OneNote. So we go over here to this button here, we click here and we go open in app. So at the moment we're in Teams in the browser, we actually want to open it in the app. So let's say I click here, we go open in app, it says, oh, I'm opening up OneNote, and then we can go to OneNote. Now, I've already got it open for the purpose of this video, but on your computer, it'll open up OneNote and it'll link you to this team. It does it automatically. You don't have to link anything. It automatically does it. So I'm going to go down here to my OneNote, and here's my OneNote, and it's opened up. Now, depending on how many teams you've got and how many different activities you've got, you might have a few different ones in here, but here's the one that we're concerned about. This is the example I'm using, primary computers. It's come in there. Now, it also shows you when I click on that, see, if I go back, if I click on that, right, it shows me the list of all the students that I've put into that team. And once again, I can click the arrow and I can see the different folders that are in here for each student. Now let's look at this student and go into class notes. And at the moment, there are no class notes in there. Nothing's been set up for the teacher. They haven't created any content and they haven't put anything in here for the student. So I want to do that. So that's the purpose of this tutorial, is how to create a lesson and put it into OneNote. So I'm going to go to welcome. And on my welcome page here, it comes with 2 pages that are standard in OneNote. You know, welcome to the class notebook, this is class, whatever, right? Great, I actually want to do a lesson. So I'm going to go down the bottom here and I'm going to go add page. See where it says plus page? I'm going to click on that to do plus page. And automatically I've got this blank page. It's got the date I created it. It's called untitled page. And I'm going to create a lesson. Now, I'm going to create a lesson on Victor Hugo. So I put my heading in here, Victor Hugo, and you'll notice straight away the page changes to be called Victor Hugo. Now I want to put some information in for the students about Victor Hugo. I want to ask them some questions. It's a literacy type activity, right? So I'm going to go to the internet. So I'm just going to go down here to Safari, open up Safari, get a new window, and I'm going to look up Victor Hugo. Right, here he is, Victor Hugo. Now, well, let's put a photo in to start with. So I'm going to go to images and I'm going to grab a picture of Victor Hugo. Let's just minimize this other screen down. Grab a picture of Victor Hugo. I'm going to drag it in. I'm just going to dump it straight onto the page. Okay, great. So now I've got a picture of Victor Hugo. Good. Now, who is he? What do I want to do? So I want to ask some questions. We need to know a bit more information about him. Let's put in a quote. It's always good getting a quote at the start of your literacy lesson. So let's maybe grab this quote here, copy that. So I'm just pressing copy on my keyboard, Command C on my Mac, Control C on a PC. I'm going back over to here. I'm placing my cursor anywhere and I press Command V, which is paste. So just copy and paste. You guys know how to do that, right? So I'm copy and pasting and I've got this quote here. Now I want it to be a quote and I want the students to see that it's a quote. So I'm going to put in quotation marks and I'm going to write Victor Hugo. Okay, and I want this to be bigger, so this all works same as Word, you know, so I'm just going to make my font size, I don't know, 18 point. I want it to have maybe a serif on the writing, so I'm just going to choose a nice font that's maybe a bit more interesting. Let's see. There we go, Century School Books, got a nice serif on the font, and it's grey at the moment, so I don't want it to be grey, so I'm just going to change it to be black so it pops off the page. There we go, so now I've got a picture of the guy, and I've got a little quote from it down there. Now, I want to ask the students some questions. So I'm going to just click here, and I'm going to write, who is Victor Hugo? Question mark. What is he famous for? Give 2 examples of his work. Right, so I've just set out 3 questions for my students and I'm going to put a couple of spaces in here so that they can type in. Now, one of the shortcomings of OneNote is you can't do coloured boxes, right? So I can't do a coloured box around this to show the students that this is a question for them. So what you can do, and this is just a little trick that you can do, go to Word. Let's go New Document in Word. I'm going to go to Insert and I'm going to go to Shapes and get a shape. I'm going to get a square shape here. So I'm going to say that big little square shape. I'm going to shape fill the background into a light color like a post-it note. Click on it and go Command C, copy. And then I'm going to take that back to OneNote and I'm going to paste. And it'll paste in as a box. Now I can click and reduce the size of that box. And I can actually move that box in over where my writing is. I can control click or right click on your PC and I can go arrange, send to back. So now I've got a box that I know that the kids can see that that's a question. Okay, now I want a bit more information about Victor Hugo. So I'm going to go back to here and I'm going to write Victor Hugo books, maybe something like that. Okay, and then I could find, oh, there's the Hunchback of Notre Dame, right? So maybe I want that picture. I want that the picture of that book. Maybe I put in Hunchback of Notre Dame. Yeah, and then let's go to images. I don't want that story. Book cover. Okay, so there's plenty of different book covers there. Let's choose this one. Right, and then I want to get that book cover. Same thing as we did before. I want to drag it, whack it onto the page. There we go. So now I've got the book cover from The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and I can put it, say, there. Now I just want to, ask, and I'll put this great quote in here. I want to ask a question about it. So let's put over here. What do you think this quote means? Full stop. There is no, oh no, let's just put, what do you think this quote means? That'll do. Make it an open-ended kind of question. Right, so we're going to put this question up here. Now, because it's a question I want the students to answer, I'm going to put a couple of spaces in, just so that they know that they can answer in the box, right? Just going to move that box over a little bit. Let's move those back up again, because I like them back up there better. Right, just move that back up. Moving everything around. Right, that'll do. No, I want to move just that. Let's just move that up. Bang. Let's move this yellow box here. Move that up. Bang. There we go. Okay. There we go. Now, I want to use that yellow box again. So I'm actually going to go back to Word, copy the same box, go back to here, paste it again. It's going to paste right down the bottom. I'm going to make it really small. I'm going to move it up, put it over the top of my question, and I'm going to arrange it and send it to the back. So I'm control clicking on here, arrange, send to back. Right, so now I've sort of, in this little example that I've given you here, I've sort of shown the students that I'm using yellow boxes where I expect their answers to be. Now you could talk about that in class, you could talk about that in your live session. Where you see a yellow box, you have to write an answer, whatever. So this is the way my page is going. Now, if I've got the picture of the Hunchback of Notre Dame, I want some text from there as well. Now, I have actually already been online and found a nice little quote here, or a section from the book. And I'm just going to go Command C, copy that, come here. Now, the reason I'm doing this is, if you see here, when I paste it this time, it actually has a web link attached as well to the Hunchback of Notre Dame and where I found it on Google. And sometimes you want that. Sometimes you want the web links to be part of your page. So now you can see I have, in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, started to put together a worksheet for the students to work on online digitally, right? So I've made this Victor Hugo worksheet. Now, of course, I'm going to put more content in. I might put some sort of, this is how you're going to be assessed rubric or whatever, right? However you want to make your pages, you're creative, make your lesson however you want to do that. And then you've finished it in here and it'll be in your welcome section in here. Now, I want to share that page. I want that page to go to multiple different places. So on my Mac, I am control clicking on it. On a PC, you're going to right click on it and you're going to go down to distribute page. Now, do I want this to be homework? Do I want it to be a quiz, a handout, or class notes? Now, I'm going to say, for the example of this, I'm going to put this into class notes. So I just click class notes. Now, because you've already set up your team with all your students in it and it's automatically created all of their folders, now this Victor Hugo section, you've distributed it to everyone within your team. If I go to class notes now here, there it is, there's my lesson. So now that copy has been put into that student's folder just for them to work on. Now, if this student then goes in and writes things in here and does all that, it doesn't affect the master copy, it affects their own personal copy. Now, when the students get it, they might get things and they might get a highlighter and they might go, oh, I like this bit like a bird, I'm going to highlight that, and oh, I'm going to write my teacher a little note down here, I have this book. Okay, whatever they want to do, they're going to get their cursor. They're going to click in. If I can go back to cursor now, where am I? Anyway, you know what I'm going to say, right? They're going to get their text. They're going to go back in here, and they're going to answer the question. He was a French guy, right? Whatever they decide to write, they can answer in here as well, and you have their copy that you can then go and assess and you can mark, right? If you go back to your welcome page, your original, see it doesn't have any of the markups on it, right? It hasn't got the writing or the highlighting. You've got the original page. I go back to this student's one and all the markups are there and all their assessments there. So you've made a page for the students. You can assess that. You can add a text box when you go through to mark it. I could add a new little text box in here and I could say, great work. Great work, whatever, right? And then you could write your assessment section in here. You could even attach your name to it. And that comment is just on that student's work. It's not going to be on the master. The master is where you've made your plan. The actual student's participation is on here, right? So that's how you make a lesson in OneNote. That's how you put it together. And that's how you distribute it to all of your students. And that's how you can then go in and assess it. You do it all in OneNote. You do not need to do it in Teams. Now, if you're in love with Teams, you could go back to Teams, and if you have a look, it has actually synced. So there is my Victor Hugo lesson. It'll load up in just a second. Here we go. So there's my lesson. You can see it's synced online, so it's synced onto Teams. And if I go into this student's work, so theirs hasn't synced yet because I was playing around with it. So once the student has done it, it'll sync on theirs as well, right? But you know, syncing happens straight away sometimes. Sometimes it takes a couple of minutes. But you can see mine has synced, but the student's one hasn't synced yet, right? So that's how it is. All right, so if you've got any other questions on how to make a lesson, how to put it together, how to send that out to lots of different classes, then you can do that. Actually, I'll just show you very quickly, last thing, an example of a really good class is the Quest class. So this one's got lots and lots of different activities, right, for the student to do. This one, the student's gone through with a highlighter and highlighted different things, and they've put in some answers here. There's different tasks, different activities. Sometimes the students might do the work in their own book and then take a photo of it and just post that online. That's perfectly acceptable. If they don't want to be working online, they do want to work in a book, that's fine. The teacher might want them to be doing handwriting in a book, right? So for example here, this one, the student has done the work in the book, taken a photo and just stuck the photo online. That's 100% acceptable as well if that's the way you want it to work. It might be a little bit more difficult to assess that, you know, you zoom your screen in to assess it, but you also can see that the student's work's being done. Righto, that's it. I hope this helps you guys. If you need any other help, send me an email and we'll see what we can do. One of the best things you can do is play with it, try all these different things, and talk to the other teachers. Find out what the other teachers are doing and how they're doing certain things, and pick up little notes and just build your own knowledge based on the shared experience, I suppose, of using OneNote.